Valentine's Day has passed, but my Hallmark addiction has not. I've got another batch of 14 romantic Hallmark movies with no specific holiday theme to them. Here we go. Number 1, Chance at Romance from 2014. I gave 3 out of 5. A child misses his mom, so he goes online to try to find someone for his dad to date. I'm amused at how often Hallmark makes children so invested in their parents' love lives. The kid invites a woman to their home, and she comes fully packed with a suitcase. There's so many stranger danger rules being broken here. A storm hits and blocks the road, so she gets stuck in town. The hotel is fully booked, so she stays at the family home, and they fall in love, because of course they do. Number 2, Love at First Spark from 2017. I gave 3 out of 5. A woman adopts a dog, and the rescue does checkups on adoptions. A guy comes to her home to check in and ends up helping her train the dog. I was very nervous to watch this, but he doesn't do any punishing, and the style is all positive reinforcement, which I'm all for. In working close together, they fall in love, because of course they do. Number 3, Personally Yours, aka Wilderness Love from 2000. I gave 3 out of 5. One of the earliest Hallmark movies I've been able to track down. A family lives in Alaska. The parents aren't together, so the kids put a personal ad in a magazine for their dad to find love. Thousands of women write him letters and send him tapes. Some even fly to Alaska and physically stalk him, even showing up to his home. After all the craziness, the parents get back together and plan to open a B&B. Number 4, Growing the Big One from 2010. I gave 3.5 out of 5. I've seen a lot of people add this to their Halloween lists, but the only thing Halloween about it are pumpkins, so I'm gonna leave it here. Emma, a radio host's grandfather, dies, and she inherits his farmhouse. The farm owes $75,000 and she can't afford it. Lucky for her, there's a pumpkin growing contest in town that will earn her enough money to cover the debt with her contributions if she wins. Her neighbor teams up with her after she lost to him at poker. And working together, they fall in love, because of course they do. They end up winning the contest and paying off her grandfather's debt. Number 5, Puppy Love from 2012. I gave 1 out of 5. Ben loses his dog, who gets picked up by the animal control and brought to a shelter. Megan just moved to town, and her daughter Caitlin is really upset and wants a dog. They adopt Ben's dog, and he tracks him down, and obviously he wants his dog back. Megan convinces him to let the dog stay so she can let Caitlin down easy. I would not let my dog stay with someone else when he had been missing. They eventually agree on shared custody of his dog that he's had since he was a puppy. Megan and Ben end up falling in love, because of course they do. Ben almost moves across the country to follow his passion of playing baseball, but he throws it all away to stay with the random lady that adopted his dog. Number 6, Recipe for Love from 2014. I gave 3 out of 5. Lauren's dream is to go to culinary school in Paris, but for now she's hired to ghostwrite a cookbook for a celebrity chef who's being extremely difficult at first. Eventually he softens up and they fall in love, because of course they do. I'm grateful she still went off to Paris for school. No one threw away their career in this one. Woohoo! There is absolutely no chemistry between the two main actors, though, which took me out of the viewing experience. They shared the tightest lipped kiss ever. I don't want to see tongue and huge open mouth swallowing each other's faces, but kissing a partner shouldn't look like you're kissing your grandma. It just felt weird. It was so stiff, I couldn't help but wonder if the actors hated each other. Number 7, Romantically Speaking from 2015. I gave 3.5 out of 5. Ariel is a talk radio show that specializes in relationships. Her boyfriend Jonathan dumps her, and people assume her best friend Nathan is Jonathan, and they just go with it. While he's pretending to be her boyfriend, they fall in love, because of course they do. I love and hate the best friend rom-coms. I like to believe that anyone of any gender and any orientation can be best friends platonically, but I also think a relationship should be with your best friend. I really enjoyed this, though. It stars Heather Morris from Glee and Jonathan Bennett from Mean Girls. Number 8, Love's Complicated from 2016. I gave 3 out of 5. Starring the lovely Holly Marie Combs, who plays Leah, whose boyfriend, Edward, signs them up for conflict management classes but stands her up, and she panics and stays in the class anyway. She gets close with another member of the class, and they fall in love, because of course they do. At one point, her boyfriend proposes, and she blurts out a yes that she doesn't genuinely mean, and then has to call off the engagement. She learns how to stand up for herself and writes a book called My Life as a Doormat, which she dedicates to her group. Number 9, Date with Love from 2016. I gave 3.5 out of 5. Shanae Grimes plays Alex, a movie star who gets dumped on the red carpet. Her public image starts spiraling from it. David is a high school student who keeps getting rejected for prom, so he sends Alex a promposal. Her publicist tells her to accept it, so they fly out to David's house and surprise him. For extra publicity, she stays in town for a while before prom and goes on dates with him, class with him, and helps plan the prom. She ends up having a thing with his teacher, and David's best friend is a bit down he didn't ask her to prom. Someone complains about rules and makes it so Alex can't go to the prom. David takes his best friend instead, and the teacher finds a loophole that allows Alex to go after all, so everyone ends up going. And she ends up with the teacher, so in a way, David played wingman for his teacher. I enjoy this one, but I wish the teacher was a little more understanding of Alex. She misunderstood a situation and thought he was using her for fame like guys always do. I feel like instead of getting upset about it, he could have just been a little more reassuring and explained things to her, but then the movie wouldn't have had its conflict. Number 10, Mismatched from 2016. I gave 1 out of 5. Such a weird concept. Alexa Penavega plays Libby, an over-the-top wedding planner who meets Ben, an author, persuading people to do the opposite and not spend much money on their wedding day. One of her clients gets talking to Ben and decides to go for a smaller wedding, only the bride still wants a big one. The couple ends up breaking up over it and getting back together only if Libby and Ben work together and meet in the middle for them. They do so and then leave Libby stuck with all the bills as they go off and elope. Libby loses every penny she has but won't sue them because the groom is Ben's best friend, and since working together they've fallen in love, so she doesn't want to fuck over his best friend. But excuse me, he fucked you out of tens of thousands of dollars. You should absolutely sue him, damn who his best friend is. But she decides not to, and Ben says he will handle it. His way of handling it is them using the planned wedding to get married instead, and suddenly she's happy with that? The whole movie she's talking about how she really needs more business, this wedding is going to save her, and also how passionate she is about weddings, and how everyone should have every detail of their wedding absolutely perfect and tailored to them. But the movie ends with her happy that she just lost all of her money, so her business is basically over. She's using someone else's wedding, so the details don't fit her. And she's marrying the guy she just met and has been arguing with for half the movie. This movie is so ridiculous even by Hallmark standards. They can't even make a sequel because she probably died of stupidity as soon as this one ended. Number 11, Summer of Love from 2016. I gave 2 out of 5. Maya is a single mom who's in school and her class requires her to do an internship over summer in order to pass her class. She interns at a tech company as accountant for the CFO. The CFO's partner is a fuckboy who keeps trying to date her, but ends up stealing her app that she developed herself and frames the CFO. Her team tells her that Mr. Fuckboy is the real thief. The CFO quits his job and offers to be an investor in her app, and they fall in love because of course they do. Business betrayal really freaks me out, so this was oddly stressful to watch and I didn't enjoy it too much. Number 12, Autumn in the Vineyard from 2016. I gave 3.5 out of 5. In my Valentine video, I watched Valentine in the Vineyard, which I guess is a sequel to this. I keep accidentally watching sequels. I wonder why Hallmark doesn't mention that things are sequels in the titles or the synopsis. Like, this title is similar, but all of the Hallmark titles are similar, so I didn't even notice until I was watching it. In this, Nate comes back to town where him and his ex Frankie end up owning a vineyard together. They split it in half and are both trying to make the best wine in town. Her dad's winery is struggling, so Nate swoops in and saves the day, and he and Frankie fall in love and share the vineyard because of course they do. I love how in the description on Letterboxd it says the simplest way to settle this particular legal dispute is with a romance, as if they only got together to avoid legal trouble, which in Hallmark land that's probably accurate. Number 13, Moonlight in Vermont from 2017. I gave 3 out of 5. Nate breaks up with Fiona, and a few weeks later she goes to her dad's Vermont inn to clear her head. She runs into Nate there, who's already dating someone new, so she panics and says she's dating the chef Derek. She makes a deal with Derek to help him acquire the land next door if he fake dates her to make Nate jealous, which works. Nate's new girlfriend rightfully gets upset and leaves, so he swoops on in to get back with Fiona, but she's fallen in love with Derek and decides to turn down a good career opportunity to stay in Vermont and be with Derek because, of course, she does. Number 14, Destination Wedding from 2017. I gave 2 out of 5. Ellie is in a relationship with Alec, who says he doesn't believe in marriage. She travels alone for her sister's wedding, where she's maid of honor, and her ex Greg is best man. Her sister gets cold feet and doesn't show up for about a week, leaving Ellie and Greg alone together to hold down the fort. They get close again over the week and re-fall in love. Alec shows up to propose to Ellie, which upsets Greg, so he runs off. Ellie breaks up with Alec and the next day finds Greg right before her sister's wedding. They kiss and make up, and then it cuts to their wedding at the same place, and I'm confused if they just took over the sister's wedding, or if her sister still got married, and then it cut to later where Ellie and Greg are getting married at the same location. There are hundreds of these. I have roughly 900 more Hallmark movies to watch. Again, if anyone knows of any St. Patrick's Day focused ones, please let me know. I think I found 2 so far, but I'm hoping to find more. Until next time.